The Weekly Bark. Hey, welcome back. Check it out. This week we are going to go ahead and shoot out budget microphones. So we're going to take a look at microphones in the $100 range. We're going to take a look at them as they're hooked up into the Rodecaster Pro. I'm going to totally strip the channel of all effects, so you're just going to get a dry signal going in of each one of these mics. We're going to go with three dynamic mics, one condenser mic. The mics we're going to be using is the Rode Pod mic that comes with the Rodecaster, and you can use it with multiple different podcasting setups. The next one is going to be the industry standard, the SM58, which I've used this mic for years. When I was playing in bands, we use this to almost every gig I've ever done. I've done early recording. I've recorded podcasts with this mic. It is bulletproof. This one's probably, I probably bought this in 2000. So we're looking at about 22 years old, and it's still kicking. This one isn't equally as old. It's a Shure SM57, and I've used this mic before. It's a condenser mic. It's very directional. We usually use this to mic in like a guitar cabinet or an instrument, like a drum, like a kick or something like that. In the past, we've done that for recording. Today, we're going to see how it does with vocals. And then the one condenser mic that I have that I use is the CAD, and I think it's a GL. Yeah, it's a GXL 2200, and it's just a condenser mic. Fairly inexpensive. I got it for like $100, and so you can pick those up all day long for $100. And so we're going to go ahead and run them through the test, and then I'll let you be the judge and on which one sounds better. And I'll use this microphone, which I'm using now, as sort of this is process. It's got internal effects on. And then when I put it over here, we'll be able to go and do a side-by-side on this microphone, which doesn't have any effects on it, and you'll be able to tell the difference. So if I switch them out right now with the Rode Pod mic, and let me bring this a little bit closer, you'll be able to tell the difference as we go. And I'm going to switch out now. I'm going to turn this one off. And now we're back. And this is no effects whatsoever on the vocals with just using the straight Rode Pod mic. Again, these pop filters come with it. I actually hate them. And so, in fact, I'm going to just take it off because I'm not going to use a pop filter on anything else. And so we get an accurate bit. I don't know. It's a really poor design on these pop filters. But here you go. This is going to be the Rode Podcaster mic. And again, I'm straight up into it. So we should get some plosives. And if you just come off to the side a little bit, plosives, it does a really good job of not picking that up. When you come straight into it, you're going to get the plosives, but when you come off to the side, Peter picked a Piper, Pekka, pickled, whatever those are, you can kind of mask that. So without the pop filter, you can also get back, and once you have put some effects on it and play with the dynamic range, you can get different sounds on that one as well, to where you can get back a little bit and it'll pick you up just fine. But anyway, here's the Rode Pod mic. Hope you liked it. All right, so now we're looking at the SM57, and so I'm just hand holding it because I don't have a mic stand to put it on here. But again, you get some plosives when you get right up into it. Come off to the side a little bit. You don't. Again, you could put a windscreen on it if you wanted to, but it's just straight up, about the same distance from my mouth as the last one. And so you get this idea of the Shure 57. The cool thing about these mics, though, is once you move to the side and you move around, it doesn't pick up any background noise. So using it as a podcast mic, it will be good because it'll pick up the person that it's directed at, but it won't pick up a lot of the circumference sounds. The pod mic, I didn't do that test. I'll do that again here in a minute, but the pod mic does that pretty well too. It picks up the forward direction where it's at, and but it does a pretty good job at shielding itself from the surroundings. So if you're talking across the table, you don't get a lot of bleed over. You get some, but you're not going to get a lot. All right, let's go on to the next mic. And here is the Shure SM58. Again, you can tell, I think it gets a little bit richer tone. It gets a real nice, clear, distinct tone. To me, it sounds a little warmer than the 57, but I don't know. I think you can tweak all that. For the most part, again, these are on sale. Like right now, I pulled it up. You can get the 57 and the 58 online right now for like $89. And so they usually go for about $99. So if you shop around, you should be able to pick these up about, that kind of pricing. So the Shure SM58, this is the sound of that one. And I'm going to go back to the pod mic real quick, and before I have to change to the condenser mic settings, because I want to do the walk around. Oh, and here, let me do the walk around here on this mic. So if we turned it around, you can see as it goes 180 away, you can still hear, but it doesn't really really pick up very well until you start to get right there. And now in that area there, with this about distance from my mouth, which is probably a couple inches, you get a really nice clear sound. And again, if it's not directly on it, it handles the plosives, but you can buy those little windscreens, and I find that takes care of the problem pretty well with the plosives. So anyway, let's go ahead and test the next mic. Okay, so coming back to the Rode Pod mic, here it is, and now I'm going to just rotate it around, and that you see as it goes away from me, not quite the same, and then as it comes back around, it picks you back up. Again, this one has a little bit more, it's a little bit more subdued, which I think gives you a little more for like podcasting, a bit of flexibility for that. All right, so the last mic we're going to test now is going to be the condenser mic, so I'm going to change a couple of settings, and the only setting I'm going to do is give it phantom power because it needs that, but all the other settings will remain the same. So we'll be right back with the CAD GXL 2200. All right, so now we've got the condenser mic of the CAD GXL 2200. As you can see, it's a lot more lively. Get a little plosive bit, so you want to be cautious on mic placement for that to make sure that it's picking up your voice without it actually getting that. They come with windscreens too, so you could use a windscreen on this one as well to cover that up. But here, $100 condenser mic. I love the way condenser mics sound. I think they just have such a great sound to them. And so here it is, the CAD GXL 2200. Again, about $100 online, and you can kind of go around. And again, if I get closer and farther away, it also is unidirectional. So as I flip it around, you're going to see that on the back side, it doesn't pick up nearly as well. Sideways, it does its thing, and then when we turn it back around, we get a nice sound coming this way. So there it is. All right, give me a second, and we'll come right back. Well, anyway, that'll wrap up our mic shootout this week. Again, I was talking to a kid the other day. I was selling a mic stand, and he had never heard of the Shure SM58. And I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, this is like the mic, the go-to mic of everybody." And so hopefully this video will help you out, especially if you're on a budget. If you're not on a budget, obviously there's a lot of high-end mics that'll do much better jobs than these. But I think for most people that are just, at-home producers, producing a self-podcast, doing some basic recording work, you cannot go wrong with these microphones. All four of them sound great, and with a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of fine-tuning, especially if you're using like Adobe Audition for podcasting or Logic or any of these other DAWs, you can get really nice, clean, quality recording. So I hope that helped. Please, if you found this video useful and you're interested in this content, please hit that like and subscribe button. I do appreciate that. And talk to me in the comments. If you got a different mic that you use, that you swear by, let me know, because I'm always I'm a kind of a gear junkie. And so I'm always in the market to look at new equipment. So, and I'm sure somebody else is too. And that's the one thing I want to do with this channel is I just want to create a community where we can kind of come together and we can talk about this stuff and share ideas. I think that's what the whole internet experience is about, should be about. And I think sometimes we forget about that. I think there's a lot of people that want to go out there and troll things and do all this sort of stuff. And I think more people are good, decent people, and we need to kind of re-engage in those comments and do that. So if that's something you're into, I'd love to know more about you and what you're recording with, what you're doing, and I'd follow you back and see, and that way I can see how your journey's going. I've enjoyed following many people on YouTube over the years, and just seeing what they create and the content that they do. There's so many really creative people in the world, and I draw a lot of inspiration from seeing what they're doing. So anyway, hope this helped out. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. All right, take care. Bye. The Weekly Bark.